Welcome to Get Wed,
a podcast to plan your wedding by.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Kerry.
And we're both here as professional photographers
and brides-to-be to help you plan your big day.
Each week we'll discuss a topic that you'll encounter along your wedding planning journey.
And with the help of fellow industry experts, we'll navigate this crazy wedding world
together.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Today we've got Donna with us from Glemham Hall, and she's going to talk to us all about finding your venue and booking your wedding venue. So, hi Donna.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good,
Thanks for joining
excellent.
us.
That's all right. No, it sounds fun. I'm really enjoying hoping to be able to impart some of my knowledge on helping brides and grooms find their venue. So I can appreciate it's quite a daunting task for a lot of people, especially organising such a big event for their families and friends. So they feel a bit under pressure it's a big task to start with, but obviously finding the venue is usually one of the first jobs on the list. But so hopefully I'll be able to give people some advice, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, it's really nice to have you because, like you said, it's such a massive thing, isn't it, picking your venue? So it's so nice to have an expert like you here to kind of guide us and answer questions and stuff we've got through.
Thank you. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because without the venue, you don't even have the date and you've got nowhere to start, have you? So it really is like a fair stop with everything. So
yeah, and it kind of sets the tone for the how the wedding will unfold as well. So, there's such a huge choice now with regards to types of venues and the way in which your ceremony will unfold. There's so. We were just saying the other day about how even not so many years ago there was the choice of you either had a church wedding or a registry office, and now they've opened up this whole kind of world of different venues, and you can go outside, you can go inside, you can do it in a barn, you can do it in a castle. It's just the choice is unending, and I think sometimes that's a little even so much harder because then you're having to kind of fine tune exactly what it is that you want and what will work for your day. So once you've got the venue, I think people feel quite settled. They like you say, once you've got your venue, you've also got your date, and then from there it can all snowball and go on. So and then it's sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, a nice thing is because you work for Glenham as well, you can help people and give them a lot of help and advice, can't you, as well, because you work.
Yeah, sure.
So that's really nice, isn't it? Have an expert.
Exactly. Yeah, we certainly very much offer a very personal service here, and I think because, especially with Glemham, it's very much a family home still. So it's the whole, although it is run as we're operating a business, but at the same time we're trying to do that within somebody's home. So for us, offering that personal service is very much comes with the nature of the fabric of the building. That's what we would. It just comes naturally to us to want to do that. So we very much get to know everybody that comes, every bride and groom by first name. We know exactly who they are, and guiding them through the steps of what to do next. And we're constantly on email support and being able to have phone conversations and Skype chats and all that kind of thing to kind of help them along the process of creating their wedding day. So. Yeah, it's a nice thing to do. Yeah,
it's good to have that support as well, because often you book your venue so far in advance and then it just goes quiet because there's not really anything that you can do in terms with your venue until we're kind of leading up to the day, is there? So it's nice that you're kind of on hand if they've got any questions in the build up.
No, that's right. It's once the quite often most couples are kind of booking nearly a year to a year and a half in advance, and you get those initial stages of booking the venue, maybe organising the caterers, and then it just kind of stops, and you're thinking, and I think they get to a point where, oh my God, I'm really behind, I don't know what I'm doing next, and actually that's why we sort of step in and help guide them, really. So And how far in advance would you sort of recommend booking somewhere like Glenham? Do you think it's really good to book well with lots and lots of time, or? I think, like I said, the average is about a year to a year and a half, and sometimes 2 years in advance. I think we're certainly not a venue that's having weddings every single day. But certainly we're more busier during the summer months because the nature of this venue is very much all about the gardens, the outdoor space, and people really love that about Glemham. and the fact that where our reception is held is always in a marquee, so it kind of lends itself to a summer venue. So I think if you have a specific date that you want to go with, and some couples kind of enter into the wedding planning process of it's got to be on that date, and that's fine. But I think if you are very stuck on one date, then you do need to be looking 2 years to 18 months in advance, just to make sure that if that's really important to you, to get your venue booked, because once that's done, it's kind of everything else follows on from there, and it gives you and also gives you reassurance that you've got plenty of time to get all those all the other elements in place, and you can have your pick of good photographers, good musicians, good bands, and you know that you've got something, and you can do it all at your own pace as well. You don't feel like you're being rushed, and so I'd say about 18 months to a year to 2 years in advance.
How many weddings do you book in a year?
We kind of average on about 30 a year at the moment. We've kind of built up since I started here about 6 years ago. We've built up the amount of weddings that we're taking on, but like I said, it's still a family home as well, so we have to kind of balance the usage of the house. So occasionally the owners might like to use their garden on a weekend. So we kind of have to think about that, and respect that they have their family time and have their own private family parties and things where they want to use their gardens and or use the house and not feel like they've got an event every weekend. So although there isn't really any kind of strict limits to what we're allowed to do, I think it's me that's more mindful that okay, let's try and balance it nicely. So so it's a little bit more unique in this this venue has the family element, but I think there are positives that go with that as well, in that when you walk into Glemham, you feel like you are stepping into a family home. It doesn't have a corporate edge to it. It doesn't feel like it's a very commercial venue. It's just you're stepping into something quite magical and very special place. And I think that those kind of characteristics, we have got wonky floorboards. We're not perfectly laminated and pristine. It's all with the character and fabric of the house. So
I think that's nice, because some venues you can go to, they come a bit of wedding factories, don't they? Because they have weddings like so many times a week and things.
And all the stuff they've got is all fake, things on the wall, and it's not, and to have real actual.
It's not real.
And it's so
old
so
paintings
nicer.
and it's genuine, and you can feel the history. Certainly, when you walk into Glemham, you got a sense of how old the house is, and all the old oil paintings on the walls, and all there's we walk into the drawing room. I'm sat in here now, but there's just stuff everywhere. But we don't want to hide it all away. We don't want to put it behind glass case. It's not that kind of house, and it's very much that the owners want to share their house. It's such the size of the house, would have had hundreds of people in it working years and years and years ago. It doesn't operate like that anymore. We can't afford to have 20 waiting staff, and it just doesn't work like that as a family home. But the houses are designed to have lots of people in them, and that's why the owners want to share the house and make it busy, and they want to hear glasses clinking, and they want to hear laughter and music, and because otherwise the house would stand empty, and you kind of lose all its soul and character, So
I agree. Definitely. And how would you kind of know about picking the right venue for you? How do you know what kind of suits you, do you think, for couples? What would be your advice?
I think certainly do your research online first. There's so many websites that will offer great tools for looking at venues, seeing loads of photos and pictures, and you kind of get an idea as to when you start looking, you get an idea of the sort of thing that will work for you. And I think then I would whittle it down to maybe 4 or 5 different venues. Maybe they're similar, maybe they're completely different. But actually, when you go to the venue, when you step inside, you'll have that ability to kind of walk the space, and whoever's showing you around will describe how the day will unfold in that particular venue. So I think that's really important to get a feel of how the day will kind of follow through,
work,
because how it will work, and if that feels right to you. So maybe there might be some venues will say, well, first we're going to do this here, and then we're going to walk to here, and we're going to do this, and you might feel that that's very structured, and you might feel that it doesn't have that relaxed vibe that you're going for. So certainly going to see the venue, walking the space, and talking through how the day will unfold is really important. And I think the only thing that you can just rely on is your gut instinct. Obviously you've checked out that the price works for you, the budget, it works within your budget, the venue offers all the things that you need it to offer, in terms of whether it's accommodation or whether they have a wedding planner on site, whether they have in-house catering, whether you've got to organise your own caterers. It's what's going to make the process much easier for you or work for you. So I think that's key. But the only thing I can say is that when you step into a venue, you'll know, you can get that sense of knowing, you can see yourself getting married. And if you can see yourself getting married there, then you kind of know that it's the right one for you. And I think the other thing is you'll know exactly when it isn't the right venue, because it will just feel wrong, and it won't. I think it's just relying on your gut instinct and what you love as a couple, and what you think will reflect your personalities and what fits with you, really.
It's like when you go...
So no real concrete advice, but I think I mean, I'm very much you have to rely on your instincts for things sometimes.
It's like when you go to buy, when you're looking around to buy a new house, isn't it? And you know as soon as you walk in the door. It's like that moment.
Exactly. You get that feeling. I mean, we had an open day on Sunday, and we there were couples who were sort of walking around visiting, and there's one couple in particular, they had kind of tears in their eyes, and it's like, oh my goodness, what an amazing thing to be able to have such a sense of emotion about a room or the music they were listening to. I don't know what it was exactly, but it kind of brought out that sense, those kind of emotions, and I guess they knew that was the one for them. So
that's a sweet story.
Really nice. It's really lovely. It does. For us, it's so rewarding to know that what you're presenting and showing to people is something that is valuable and works. So
so how does the
hard work though.
So how does the day at Glemham go ahead? So in terms of like the wedding ceremony itself, are you licensed for ceremonies and things? And are you on hand on the day to like coordinate how the day runs and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have we're licensed for civil ceremonies and partnerships in the Great Hall, and also we have another room for smaller weddings for up to 45 people in the drawing room as well. And we also have a summer house in the garden, so you can do outdoor weddings, which is really lovely. We have a little summer house which is in the corner of the rose garden, and it's beautiful. It's just the best spot in the garden. You've got all the roses, the hall in the background, the avenue of yew trees, and it's a really beautiful spot. So there's quite a few options for the ceremony, but the bride can arrive here in the morning from sort of first thing, and we have a beautiful bridal suite upstairs with dressing room and bathroom where she and her bridesmaids can get ready on the day of the wedding. And that room leads directly onto our grand staircase. So the staircase can actually be used as an entrance into the hall for the ceremony. So it's quite special. It's quite fairy tale. Yeah. It's, there's not many opportunities you get to wear a beautiful dress and float down a staircase. So that's quite a winning combination. So the ceremony will take place, and then quite often we'll try and go in the gardens. Assuming the weather's nice, we'll utilise the gardens for drinks. So usually people head over to the rose garden and have canapes, drinks in the gardens, and then they'll head over to the marquee for dinner and dancing for the rest of the evening. So it's very much, we very much try and promote a very relaxed situation to have you not a situation, but a relaxed atmosphere and environment to have a wedding day. It's just giving people the opportunity to mix and mingle and enjoy the day, and talking with all their friends and family, which is why they've got them all together in the first place. So it sounds like
a great place where everyone kind of gets to explore gardens and things and see every part of the venue that you have to offer as well, rather than just all being stuck in one area for the entire day.
That's right. It's there's certainly plenty of space to use, and there's different areas that you can use as well. So we generally on a viewing will show the bride and groom all the spaces that we have available, and we say, you choose how you want to use it. So whether they want to do croquet on the lawn and have drinks there, or if they want to go into the rose garden, kind of keeping people a bit more together. But generally, we'll find guests will be wandering around the gardens. They'll find a bench and they'll sit there with their prosecco and just have a really lovely afternoon, which sounds lovely.
Yeah,
yeah.
So it's beautiful. It's in the summer. It's nothing better. So yeah.
I know from when I photographed a wedding there before that there's almost too much to use at the venue. Like there's so many spaces.
Yeah,
you kind of need 2 days to really use it all.
Yeah, that's true. There's plenty of opportunity for great photos, and the nice thing is we're still seeing really new photos. I mean, obviously, because there's certain areas that people or photographers will use and create beautiful photos, and they always are beautiful. But we're still seeing someone's found another angle, or someone's found another area that we hadn't seen before, and it's like, oh wow, it makes the venue look really different as well. So I love seeing people's photos.
Even if it rains or something, it's fine because there's so much space inside as well. So it is such a good venue. Yeah. Like, there's so much you can do and play with there. So
that's right. Yeah. Oh, good.
What about your planning service? Do you how does it work with things like catering and do you kind of help your couples arrange that or?
Yeah, sure. So we try and be as flexible as possible with regards to catering. So they have the option of a wedding package where we've put together all the menus for them. So we've put together a sort of 3-course dinner and canapes and evening food. So that's an option. They can just, if they don't want to talk to caterers and they'd rather that we did that, so we'll happily take on that element for them. The other option is if they want something a bit more bespoke, if they want to, actually I don't want the formal 3-course dinner, I'd rather have a barbecue, or I'd rather have a hog roast, or I'd rather do a curry, because obviously we have lots of mixed marriages and people want elements of their heritage coming in through the wedding, and that reflected in the food. So they can then talk to the caterers directly and have that conversation with them. So it gives you plenty of scope for creating the wedding breakfast that you want to have. So we're not insisting you have this and this. It's you have the option. You can have the easy option of it's all done. Brilliant. But if you want something much more bespoke, then but the one thing we're just really careful about is the choice of caterers, because obviously it largely reflects on the venue, the catering that kind of happens on the day. So it's really important to us that the standard is what we would expect for a special celebration like a wedding. So it has to be good. So that's one thing where we try and help. But we certainly help people with the choices of catering, and like I said, I've got Victoria with me who helps in the events office, and together we both look after all the weddings, and we're both on hand, email, telephone. Anyone wants to give us a call throughout the stages of wedding planning, we're always on hand to give them some advice and guidance. And we have a list of recommended suppliers as well, which is always really useful. We don't insist that they use them, but they're just a nice guide, a starting point from which to make some inquiries. But from us that they've been recommended, they're really good, they know the venue, they've been here, and we've always personally worked with them, so we know. It comes as a hearty recommendation. Yeah, exactly.
It's always a good way to go if you're like you'll find it hard to fit in wedding planning, isn't it? If you've got a recommended list, you can just be like, right, at least I can contact these people.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's really helpful. But and the guys that we do work with are really good. We wouldn't ever, otherwise it rests on us and it looks bad for us. So that's something. I think it's helpful. A lot of people find it really helpful.
Yeah, definitely. What questions haven't we gone over? I've lost my list.
What do you kind of expect in the lead up to the day then? Like, do you have to have one final meet up, or is it sort of gradually broken up, or how does it work with We usually have we normally run
an open days twice a year, and we also do like a wedding fair in the middle of June as well. So those 3 sort of wedding type events will quite often find couples who have already booked Glemham will come along to those and just have another chance to see the venue, another chance to see it kind of dressed up and how it might look, how it could look for their wedding. We just use it as an inspirational day to kind of give people ideas. And there's also usually a selection of our regular and approved suppliers that will be there on the day, so they can always go and talk to them if they're looking for certain suppliers for wedding cakes, flowers, dresses, whatever. There'll be a handful of those on the day as well. So there's those 3 events that people can always have the opportunity to come back to Glemham and kind of wander around the gardens and make decisions about, coming back to the venue and walking around it and making those decisions kind of helps with all the conversations that they'll then have at home. Remember when we, the bit where you mean where we're going to have drinks, and I know that you can't remember. So when you come here and you kind of walk around, you kind of makes things a bit clearer in their minds. So but other than that, we'll then, like I said, we're always here during the week to speak to, and finally we'll do a planning meeting about 6 to 8 weeks before the wedding. So that's an opportunity to come in, sit with us, and we'll go through everything from top to bottom. And it's this kind of one document where all the information is recorded, and we then give that to the caterer. We will pass on that information to any of the suppliers that require anything. So it's just a real rigid plan of how the day will unfold, but it also, the bride and groom have got copies, so they can give it out to their wedding party, so that everyone knows what's going on at what time, especially breast band bridesmaids who might be useful for them to have that as well. So that's kind of what we do, and usually quite often that the couple will have the day before the wedding to kind of set up in the marquee, as long as we haven't got another event going on. So we'll have that afternoon to do a final run through, and cross off any kind of last minute. Oh, what about that? And have we thought about But from their point of view, it's like all the kind of last minute things that they might not have thought of. But we're trying to eradicate those in the planning meetings. So everything's kind of checked off beforehand. So but that's but that kind of works. Yeah.
Can you tell us about some of your most memorable weddings at Glemham in terms of different styles or?
Oh gosh,
I put you on the spot a bit there. Didn't warn you about this question.
Well, to be honest, I think I can pretty much remember most of the weddings, because the nice thing about Glemham is that we try and be as flexible as possible, which then allows couples to create the wedding day that they want. So they end up being really, diverse, and the styles are really different. We've had some really beautiful. I always remember the first wedding we did outside in the summer house, because that was the first time we'd had the venue licensed, and the first couple who'd opted to go outside. On the day, it was raining till about midday, and the ceremony was at 1. But we'd been watching the weather all week to kind of gauge a picture of how Saturday was going to unfold, and so we had drizzly grey day in the morning, but we kind of knew that at lunchtime the sun was going to come out, and so literally at sort of 11 o'clock we had to make that decision, and the skies were still grey. I mean, it's the most stressful morning of my life. We're having to make that decision of, okay, so do we go for this or not? And I'm saying, I'm so certain that the sun is going to come out, so you know what, if the chairs get wet, who cares? We're just going to go for it. It's the registrars that are kind of a bit more careful about, you can't do a ceremony in the rain, but we thought if there's any chance that this is going to go ahead, let's just make it happen. So we went for it anyway, and lo and behold, the sun, beautiful sunshine for the rest of the afternoon, and it was just perfect. So that was quite a memorable one. And it's beautiful. All the lavenders were out. There's some photos on our website of that first wedding, and it was beautiful, really nice. And we've done quite a few since. So this year was our busiest year for outdoor weddings, and we're seeing that as much more of a growing trend of people wanting to go outside. And it's a really lovely spot. So we're seeing a lot more people wanting to throw caution to the wind and let's go outside. If they can do it, they will. So we'll try and make it happen. But no, there's been the marquee has seen so many styles, so many decorations. I can't tell you.
I bet.
But that's the lovely thing, we get to see it all dressed up every week. And that's one of the nicest things about the job, really, is seeing what people do and the elements that they bring to the wedding, not just in decoration, but the way the day unfolds. And we had our first gay wedding this year as well, which is quite it was quite a historical moment for Glemham, obviously, because of the how long the house has been here. And so that was kind of a marker, and that was great. It was good fun. They had cocktail hour. Cool. It was just such a fun wedding. Yeah, it was good.
Such a mixed and diverse set of weddings. I know the wedding that I did there was a bit more of a formal one because the groom was in uniform.
That's right. Yeah.
Difference. And that's the first one I've done with a groom in uniform and stuff. So that was really fun to see. Yeah. That. And it really suited the grounds.
Yes.
When he was dressed up and he had his hat and everything, I really liked it.
Oh. Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, we do. It's just what a lovely job that we do.
Yeah, well, I've seen quite a lot of my couples who've gone on and had babies and stuff, but then gone back to Glenham. So one of my couples had like a picnic there, and another one visited at your open day at the weekend. And I just think that's so lovely. They come back with their babies and stuff and show them.
I know, it was lovely because we did an anniversary picnic for a couple who wanted to come back. They came back a year. It must have been a year later.
Yeah.
And they brought baby in tow as well, and it was just so lovely. And they spent the whole afternoon on the lawn and just wandered around, and it was lovely for them to be able to do it. And I think how lovely to be able to go back to the place where you got married and spend some time there. There's quite a lot of places where you might not be able to do that.
That's the first time I've heard of that. I've never heard of there being a venue, creating an event for an anniversary. I think that's a really sweet idea.
Yeah.
I think you definitely got some brownie points for that.
Yeah.
I was like, brilliant idea. Doing that for your wife is lovely.
I know. We did a hamper from. We've got a little farm cafe down the road from Glemham, and they put on this beautiful wicker hamper with lots of lovely cheeses and meats and breads and dips, and it's lovely. I was quite jealous actually. I mean, sitting in my office at the packed lunch and not quite as nice, but and then we got to have a cuddle with baby Oliver on Sunday, who Amy and Matt. That was lovely. I knew they were. She did email me to say they were coming, but they were really enjoying. They were recreating their wedding photos with the baby on Sunday, so doing little selfies and everything. And I thought, it's so sweet.
That's so nice, isn't it, when you have that kind of relationship with a couple? Much, doesn't it? And obviously means they were so happy, and such a lovely job.
Yeah, it's nice that they don't just get married and that's the end of the whole process. You kind of got this relationship that carries on into the future.
I know. One of the last, whenever when a wedding has taken place, and I'll always get in touch by email afterwards and say thank you and all that kind of. And one of my last things is do keep in touch, because I always like to hear about what's going on in their lives, and when they go and have babies, and it's just nice to keep in touch. Why wouldn't you? It's just you've been such a big part of the a very momentous day of their life, and
and you talk for such a long time.
You do. You feel like you really get to know people, so it's sad to say goodbye.
It is. I always feel that at the end, as soon as I'm posting out the USB of photos, I think, this is the end. It's always really
And finally, what would be kind of your best advice then to give bride and grooms about their wedding day? What have you kind of learned along the way?
Oh my goodness. I think everybody says just remember to enjoy it, don't they? To remember to step back, take a few minutes out and just absorb all that's going on around you. I think that's the best advice. I think so many people say, it goes by so quickly, the ceremony went by so quickly. I think you just have to make a real conscious effort to really look around you and see what's and just kind of step away from the throng and just look, just soak up all the visuals ahead of you and the sounds and the smells and the sight, just so you have all those memories. I think they really help with all your sort of wedding day memories. But I think, and the other thing I think would be to enjoy the planning as well, because that will go by quickly, and to not let things get stressful. I know that's a very difficult thing to achieve, but it doesn't have to be. I don't think it has to be stressful. And I think you have to remember why you're doing it, the key reason why you're getting married, and the wedding day is just the celebrational part. But it's important, of course it is, but you know, the whole planning side of thing has to be, or should be, enjoyable. And I hope, and that's why I think when we sort of help, you know, offer our support and guidance, that people take us up on it, because we've done it quite a few times, you know, and you should take on board help from people. Don't feel like you have to do it all yourself. Friends with talents, friends with musical talents, and you know, get them on board, use them, and so I think that would be my advice.
That's good. And just before we go, do you just want to let our listeners know a bit more about Glemham, like where you're based, where they can find you online, things like that?
Yeah, sure. So our website is glemhamhall.co.uk, and we're based just off the A12 between Woodbridge and Saxmundham in Suffolk. And we're surrounded by 300 acres of beautiful Suffolk parkland with huge historic oak trees in the garden. So it's a beautiful house that kind of sits in the middle of all this lovely parkland. So it's very peaceful, it's very private, and the venue is offered exclusively to you. So you can have a really enjoyable day here.
I always love that drive up the driveway when I come to
yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh,
have you been down it in the spring? It's just covered in daffodils.
Oh yes, I think that's when I was.
Yeah.
It's mad. You just feel like you're driving like to like another world coming down there. But like,
yeah,
where's
you
the
do feel like
A12
you're
gone?
stepping back in time a little bit. Yeah.
It's good.
Lovely.
Perfect.
Oh, thank you so much for talking to us today, then, Donna.
Oh,
It's been
pleasure.
lovely.
No, it's been really nice. It's like having a little coffee morning with friends.
Yeah.
Without the coffee.
Yeah.
It's like cake and coffee.
Yeah. No, it's really lovely to chat to you both, and I hope I hope it all goes well.
Thank you.
Oh, thank
We'll
you.
be
All
in
right.
touch when this podcast goes live, but it'll probably be a few weeks' time.
Okay.
All right.
Lovely. Okay.
Thanks
I'll
so
see you
much.
soon.
Bye.
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 Thanks for listening to Get Wed.
We hope you enjoyed us babbling on.
And if you did, we'd love for you to let us know.
Head to getwedpodcast.co.uk, hit review and leave your comments.
We hope to see you next time.
Happy
Happy planning!